Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Solango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Be weather aware for Tuesday is going to be our favorite rain and storm day. A lot of us missed the storms yesterday, but that is not the case this morning. We have a marginal slight risk of severe weather for isolated to scattered severe potential, mainly damaging winds, slight risk area, can't rule out some large hail. Western areas of West Virginia, I did observe one tornado warning storm, a tornado warning already. So know your safe place to be. The severe weather develops. Sturdy building, centermost room in the lowest floor is where you generally want to be. There's also going to be that potential of some heavy and excessive rain today. There are multiple boundaries. We have a warm front, a prefrontal trough, the main cold front coming in from the north, and there could be some locally higher amounts of rain yet, on top of up to saturated ground. We are generally in a marginal risk of excessive rain for local flash flooding that's possible, but I did see at least one flash flood warning northwest in Ohio. So what the radar may look like at 7 a.m., again, we are favored for the rain today, generally likely, and that risk of flash flooding. Keep eyes on streams and rivers, and some severe weather too. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home, 95 in Orlando today, Chicago 77, they had the severe weather there yesterday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, be mindful of rain and storms, highs near 80. Chance of showers and storms ends tonight. Eastern Panhandle, risk of severe and some heavy rain, highs around the low to mid 80s. Chance of storms early tonight. Central areas, risk of severe weather, chance of heavy rain, isolated flash flooding. Keeps eyes on streams and rivers for the next 2 days here. And to the west, risk of some flash flooding and all types of severe weather may impact the morning drive. We are dry Wednesday and Thursday, and also Friday, highs mid-80s with mostly sunny skies, 80s and more unsettled potentially for the weekend, as I'll watch for another chance of showers and storms.
This is Ben Solango with Solango Law. Solango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Solango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Solango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at solangolaw.com.
Jam-packed show today. We'll get the latest on the Elliott Pritt case. Also, later on, more Capito, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia will stop by. We'll talk flock cameras, and we could have some severe weather across part of the state today. Told you, it's loaded. It's MetroNews Talkline. We're ready to go.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Say good morning to all of our great radio affiliates across the state. We appreciate you letting us be part of your day and welcome you inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. Also appreciate it if you're watching in on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Don't forget, download the app to your favorite mobile device or your smart TV and watch all the MetroNews TV programming available across the network. Coming up a little bit later on, Stephen Allen Adams, friend of the program from Ogden Newspapers, will get us the latest on the bankruptcy filing by Omnis at the former Pleasance Power Station up at Willow Island in Pleasance County. Talk to him bottom of the hour. Bryan Hughes will stop by. Update us on the forecast. Some severe weather moving across parts of the state this morning. Second hour, more Capito, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia. And we'll talk to Ed Preston. He's a former retired police chief, law degree. We'll get into the flock camera discussion with Ed, who now trains officers across the country. And, of course, your texts are welcome. at 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK. That is the phone number. Say good morning, TJ Meadows, in the COVID Insurance Studios in Charleston. Good morning.
Good morning. Bit of rain this morning, Dave, from the drive-in from the Greater Tays Metroplex. So a bit of weather out there, as you said.
The sun was out when I came down the steps a moment ago up here.
Really?
It was raining when I came to the studios from the other building, and when I looked outside just a minute ago, the sun was out.
Well, things are looking up.
You know what? I give all credit to Bryan Hughes. We will talk to him coming up a little bit later on, get an update on some of that severe weather. Yesterday, there was a detention hearing and a preliminary hearing scheduled for the now former Fayette County Delegate Elliott Pritt. He also submitted his resignation to House Speaker Roger Hanshaw. MetroNews' Jack Carlson was inside the federal courthouse yesterday covering the hearings. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline to get the day started. Jack, good morning.
Good morning, Dave, TJ. Great to be on with you.
Appreciate it, Jack. So set the scene for us yesterday inside the courtroom.
It was a packed courtroom, Dave and TJ, yesterday. All three rows of that courtroom were packed, had members of the West Virginia Republican Party. Secretary Tony Hodge was there. Also, Kanawha County Delegate J.B. Akers was in the courtroom. And then when Elliott Pritt came in, it was kind of a hush that fell over the courtroom. His hands and feet were shackled, and I'll admit, it was a surreal experience. I mean, a week ago, guys, we did not know a lot of these things, and it broke 6 days ago, this news about Elliott Pritt, and a lot has happened since then. And so the courtroom experience itself, the hearing took just 10 minutes, very efficient. Pritt waived both his preliminary hearing and detention hearings, which means that he will stay in U.S. Marshal's custody throughout this federal investigation.
So, Jack, you really hit it. I think there is just a stark juxtaposition against the Elliott Pritt that we saw on the closing night of the legislature, who we thought he was, versus what many saw yesterday, which was the Elliott Pritt brought in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, and knowing what he's done now. Talk about that reaction a little bit more. What you saw in people's faces, what they said afterward. What did you hear from folks who were in attendance?
Absolutely. It's a good point, TJ. And obviously all these are allegations, but it's a federal investigation that's going on against Pritt. Obviously he's resigned from his seat in the House of Delegates. I mean, the sentiment that I've heard from all sorts of elected officials is shock, disgust, abhorrence is a word that has been tossed around as well. For a person that is in a position of trust, like Elliott Pritt, and who has made, as you said, such measures toward supposedly supporting children and children's welfare, it is very disturbing. It also highlights this current day and age and the dangers for children online, and it really poses some questions for parents across the state, across the country, of how they're going to regulate their children being online, because you just don't know what is out there.
Jack Carlson is joining us from the MetroNews newsroom. He was covering the hearing yesterday involving now former Fayette County Delegate Elliott Pritt. U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, Capito, will join us a little bit later on. Jack, he did address the media after yesterday's hearing. What did he have to say?
So he really highlighted the dangers of economically blind. And what that means is you can be the richest kid, you can be the poorest kid, and it will affect you. It could affect you. And so that was a very, very strong point that he made. And he just talked about what comes next. And so his office, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Southern West Virginia, will present an indictment to a grand jury. Remember, guys, this has all gone on based on a criminal complaint. They arrested Pritt based on a criminal complaint. An indictment hasn't even been presented yet. And so that's coming in the near future. And because Pritt waived his detention hearing and preliminary hearings yesterday, he's remaining in federal custody throughout this process, which could reflect strongly in his favor going forward, and maybe favorably when it comes down to decisions later on. But yeah, Capito really emphasized that, I mean, obviously this is a case that has drawn widespread attention across the state and really, guys, throughout the country. But he says this, unfortunately, is something that his office deals with on a daily basis, specifically in the Southern District of West Virginia. A lot of vulnerable children in this current day and age get exposed to some, frankly, scary things.
Unfortunately, Jack, we have to talk about the politics of the situation because some people have made it about politics, in my opinion. But let's start with the governor. The governor taking to X and Facebook yesterday with his thoughts. What did he have to say about the matter?
So he blasted Pritt in that social media post. He made a couple of posts, really. But his reaction immediately after Pritt resigned, he said good riddance to him. And he called him a former socialist. Of course, Pritt changed from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party recently. And so Morrissey took to Twitter and attacked him for that. And he said, quote, "The GOP must always stand for integrity, protecting our kids, and maintaining our principles." Morrissey said he's happy for this result. And there's so many questions that we now have. Obviously, since he's resigned from his seat in the House of Delegates, that takes him out of the running for that right now. However, he ran unopposed in the Republican primary this past May, and he remains on the ballot right now in the November general election. And so a date that we need to keep in mind, guys, is 2 weeks from today, August 11th. The Secretary of State, Chris Warner, has been very forthcoming with the legal matters with this case, and he said unless a candidate is disqualified from the ballot, the Republican Party may not choose a replacement, and the deadline for that disqualification is August 11th. There's two different ways that a candidate can be disqualified, either through a qualifying conviction, which in this case, if there's a conviction against Pritt, that would disqualify him from being a candidate, or if the State Election Commission receives a written request establishing that the candidate is ineligible to hold office. Now, we also do have to keep in mind that this Saturday, the West Virginia Republican Party is meeting in Charleston, and they're going to hold a vote to disavow Pritt from being a member of the party. And Tony Hodge talked yesterday about that. He said there's the minimum signatures for a disavowal to be brought forth is 30. He said there was significant support. A lot of members of the Republican Party were on board, and they were on board quickly. 80 signatures, at least at last count, had been signed to that paper asking the state Republican Party chair, Josh Holstein, to hold that disavowal vote to remove Pritt from being a member of the party.
And Jack, I don't know that you have an answer to this question, but one of the questions that popped into my mind is if he is disavowed, how that would factor into a request to disqualify him from the ballot. I don't know how that factors in, but it certainly should, you would think, would carry some sort of weight.
Absolutely. And really, for me, the big question for me, Dave, is how quickly the legal proceedings will take place against Pritt. When will this indictment be presented by the U.S. Attorney's Office for Southern West Virginia? You'd think that they would want to move quickly and get this out in the open as soon as possible. But obviously, you're dealing with a 2-week deadline now, August 11th, and talked with J.B. Akers outside the courthouse just after the hearing yesterday, and he said, obviously, on a personal level, he really wants this to, if the allegations against Pritt are true, he wants him to be prosecuted for it. And his priority, obviously, this seat could change from Republican to Democrat if the Republicans are unable to replace Pritt for the November general election. And Akers said, just on a personal note, he's not as concerned right now with the potential for that seat flipping. He just wants justice to be done in this case.
We'll ask more Capito, but guys, I've been doing some Google lawyering, I guess you would say. And because he waived detention and he's still being incarcerated, the target is 14 days from my research for the federal prosecutors to present that and get a grand jury indictment. If he had been on bail or bond, a PR bond, it goes to about 21. But Jack, to your point, you're going to butt right up against that August 11th deadline. And I would think unless he pleads guilty, no contest, this goes away by the 11th, which I don't know that Pritt would do, that would be in his best interests from a defense standpoint. It seems like it comes down to the State Election Commission and what they consider to be disqualifying and how they'll interpret that. And Dave, to your point, if this disavowalment happens, how that plays into all of it, I guess it's a wait and see, guys.
Yeah, it's certainly a wait and see. We've not been in this situation. There's a new law that is in place here that has complicated it where in the past it did not. And Jack, the federal courts, they don't move quickly, generally speaking. Federal cases, they have their own timeline. 2 weeks and quick usually don't go hand in hand when it comes to federal cases. You can read Jack's story over at the website, wvmetronews.com. We're going to talk to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia, more Capito, coming up 11:33 this morning. Jack, good work. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Your thoughts are welcome. 304-TALK-304. That is the text line. Phone lines are always open at 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit wvhtf.org to learn more.
At the WVU Cancer Institute, our experts deliver personalized care for each patient with pancreatic cancer. We utilize innovative treatments and technology, backed by one of the nation's top 25 robotic surgery programs. From diagnosis and surgery to treatment and survivorship, we're here for you every step of the way. Call 855-WVU-CARE.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
The conversation starts long before the game.
You a heavy swag purchase?
Well, one of my things, I love gear from events.
Okay.
I just love. That's a thing. I gotta go get gear.
Well, you're not alone because there's a lot of people.
A lot of people. When my daughter was little and participating in karate, I mean, we'd go up to Weir and be at an event. I'm like, right, I'm a T-shirt we got. Let's get a T-shirt for Let's get a T-shirt.
3 guys before the game. Available on Metro News Television.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Stephen Allen Adams, Ogden Newspapers. He had an in-depth story yesterday on the bankruptcy filing by Omnis over the Pleasance Power Station up at Willow Island. We'll get an update from Stephen Allen Adams. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk flock cameras. Coming up in hour number 2, more Capito will join us as well. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255, the phone number. A couple of news and notes things to mention. The funeral services for the late senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, underway at the U.S. Capitol. Senator John Thune is speaking right now. Also, Brad McElhenney files a story at WVMetroNews.com this morning regarding, as the Greenbrier turns, as we like to call it here. Brad writes at WVMetroNews.com, a federal judge overseeing a court fight over control of the Greenbrier Hotel has allowed Senator Jim Justice and his family more time to work on a financial deal while also setting deadlines and hearings that could rev up the case. Again, U.S. District Judge Frank Volk entered the order on Monday in the Southern District of West Virginia. Volk overseeing the case involving Omni Hotel's affiliate White Sulphur Springs Holdings, which owns about $300 million in first lien debt on the Greenbrier. The justices and their Greenbrier Hotel Corporation say a $500 million deal could pay off White Sulphur Springs Holdings and other entities owed money while also providing enough to invest in long-needed hotels.
I'm told, folks I talk with, the Greenbrier's doing quite well if it could just keep the money in the coffers, right? In terms of the hotel money is the hotel money. It's not spread throughout. It's doing quite well financially. It's bringing in a profit. With that said, I think it turns Justice's decision-making back to, what am I going to do politically now? Am I going to remain in the U.S. Senate? Do I want to be governor again? Because if so, you know as well as I do, we're coming up on the general. You got to start, and you got to start the day after the general at the latest. And you become a shadow governor if you're going to challenge Governor Morrissey from within his own party. Who's that going to be? Is it going to be Justice? Is it going to be Larry Pack? Chris Warner's name is out there. Who's going to do this? Because I think, Dave, it's got to be a one-on-one. If anybody who would challenge Morrissey has a chance, you get a bunch of people in the primary again, you're going to end up with the same result that you had previously. So I think it'll be interesting once we get this deal done, how quickly Justice makes his political plans known.
To your point, and you know this as well as anybody, when it comes to big business, there are big egos in big business.
Yeah.
And by doing the deal, like you said, with Kenny Lewis, he's able to save face, retain some sort of operational control, and you don't have this Jim that we know Jim Justice, not just monetarily, but he is emotionally attached to the Greenbrier Resort and that area. That's where he's from. That's where he lives. He gets to save some of that with this deal versus Omni coming in and taking it out from under him. Yeah, seems to all make sense to me. And to your point as well, TJ, is the political ramifications there. What was it Starwalt told us? As soon as the election's over on Tuesday, by Wednesday, we'll already be talking about presidential candidates. We're going to be talking about if Morrissey will have a challenge from within the party. Who do the Democrats try to put up against the Republican nominee in 2028? All that's going to happen very quickly. And you better be ready, because Morrissey may be vulnerable, but he'll be a formidable opponent.
Oh, absolutely.
As an incumbent and, as a fundraiser. He is very good at getting the financial backing that is necessary for this type of a race. So it's not something you can go into half-heartedly or have, like you said, TJ, a field of 5, 6, 7 guys all vying for that spot. That wouldn't be fair to the voters anyway in that situation.
No. Let me switch gears on you. I'm curious. Governor taking to X over this Pritt thing and Facebook the way he did yesterday. I was a little surprised by that. And then I thought more about it, and I wasn't really surprised by it, because I think it was an effort to emulate everyone's favorite politician. Off-the-cuff thoughts when you saw that post?
It's tabloid trash. It's just tabloid trash. Look, there are two aspects to this story. There's the news aspect to it, and that needs to be covered and reported on accurately and fairly. The rest of it's just tabloid trash. If you are trying to generate clicks, or you're trying to somehow virtue signal, or you are trying to generate comments online, that's just tabloidy National Enquirer type stuff. It's trash. It's just trash. And it's unnecessary. It doesn't move the story forward. It doesn't help victims. It doesn't help the state. It doesn't help the legislature. It's all garbage. All of it.
I thought Roger Hanshaw and the way he has handled this with his public statements is textbook. See what he did yesterday? He put out the resignation letter. He said, our thoughts continue to be with these families, these victims. That's all you needed to say. Textbook. Kudos.
The rest of it's, again, it's just trash. It's unnecessary. It doesn't move the story forward at all. It doesn't move anything forward at all. We will talk to more Capito coming up about an hour from now. Omnis has filed for bankruptcy at the Pleasance Power Station up at Willow Island in Pleasance County. What about that $50 million loan from the Economic Development Authority? We'll try to answer some of those questions with Stephen Allen Adams of Ogden Newspapers coming up a couple of minutes from now. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's only 10:30. Let's get a news update anyway from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Be weather aware for Tuesday is going to be our favorite rain and storm day. A lot of us missed the storms yesterday, but that is not the case this morning. We have a marginal slight risk of severe weather for isolated to scattered severe potential, mainly damaging winds, slight risk area, can't rule out some large hail. Western areas of West Virginia, I did observe one tornado warm storm, a tornado warning already. So know your safe place to be. The severe weather develops. Sturdy building, centermost room in the lowest floor is where you generally want to be. There's also going to be that potential of some heavy and excessive rain today. There are multiple boundaries. We have a warm front, a prefrontal trough, the main cold front coming in from the north, and there could be some locally higher amounts of rain yet on top of up to saturated ground. We are generally in a marginal risk of excessive rain for local flash flooding that's possible, but I did see at least one flash flood warning northwest in Ohio. So what the radar may look like at 7 a.m., again, we are favored for the rain today, generally likely, and that risk of flash flooding. Keep eyes on streams and rivers, and some severe weather too. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home, 95 in Orlando today, Chicago 77, they had the severe weather there yesterday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, be mindful of rain and storms, highs near 80, chance of showers and storms ends tonight. Eastern Panhandle, risk of severe and some heavy rain, highs around the low to mid 80s, chance of storms early tonight. Central areas, risk of severe weather, chance of heavy rain, isolated flash flooding, keeps eyes on streams and rivers for the next 2 days here. And to the west, risk of some flash flooding and all types of severe weather may impact the morning drive. We are dry Wednesday and Thursday, and also Friday, highs mid-80s with mostly sunny skies, 80s and more unsettled potentially for the weekend, as I'll watch for another chance of showers and storms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Hey, I take offense of that.
Why would you do that? Because on midday, the last segment, the first thing I hear when those mics go on is you just coughing, and I'm just like, this guy. You don't appreciate me giving at you a little ratings boost at the end, a little boom boom? You coughing directly onto these microphones? No, I don't want it.
I don't know where this came from.
Everybody.
I'm in another room, guys. I don't know.
Everybody. Hey, Coop,
I'm just
what's up?
watching this.
Hotline on Metro News Television.
We'll get an update on some of the severe weather moving across parts of the state today. Meteorologist Bryan Hughes will stop by. We'll talk flock cameras. Top of the hour. The former Pleasance power plant will continue operating as the company that purchased the facility more than 3 years ago seeks bankruptcy protections and a possible sale of the plant. Documents were filed in U.S. bankruptcy court in the District of Delaware for Omnis Pleasance LLC, filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Ogden Newspapers reporter, columnist, friend of the show, Stephen Allen Adams has been all over this story. He joins us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Stephen, good morning. Good to talk to you as always.
Hey, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. Coming to you live from the parking lot of the Dominion Post and WVRC Media over in Saberton. So
you're on the other side of town. You should have told him, Stephen, look, I got this very important commitment first, then I'll come to that side of town.
Yeah.
What's up with this, Stephen? Omnis built this plant, or didn't build it. They purchased it 3 years ago with a lot of fanfare, a lot of expectations to transform the energy industry, and now we're talking Chapter 11.
Yes, that's right. So the current management of that particular power station, the former Pleasance Power Station, they have filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This is not shutting down the power plant in any way. They're going to honor the obligations that they already had. The PJM, for most people that don't know, Pleasance Power is what's called a merchant power plant. It feeds power directly into the PJM regional market, which, of course, West Virginia is part of. So PJM dispatches power, requests for power, and Pleasance Power is one of the plants that is dedicated to providing that energy. But the plant's going to keep operating. Everyone that's working there still got a job. The main goal for this Chapter 11 bankruptcy is to begin paying down and paying off some of its substantial debts. Also, it's trying to do some governance work. There's apparently some issues there, and we can get into that here in a moment. And then also, they are looking to sell the plant. So this will be the second time the plant has been sold in about, about the second time in about 3 years.
Let's start with this reorganization, this type of bankruptcy, this Chapter 11, Stephen. Does that in any way affect the loan that the state made to this group to purchase the power plant?
It's a very good question. I've reached out to the Economic Development Authority that gave that $50 million loan several years ago. They're not talking right now. It looks like, based on the bankruptcy filing, that I don't know that any of that $50 million has been repaid. There were some mechanisms within the loan agreement between Quantum Pleasance, which was the previous ownership led by Simon Hodgson, a California business person that owns several business entities in the state of West Virginia. There was a specific deal with them in regards to how that would be repaid, how money needed to be set aside, things of that nature. But it looks to me, based on the bankruptcy agreement, that they owe that $50 million plus interest. You know, there was 1% interest on that. It was a 30-month term loan that actually came up, hit its 30 months in May, to give you an idea. So they definitely need to be paying that. And if you look at the list of creditors under bankruptcy, it's number one, $50 million. And so that's the biggest creditor that company has. So it remains to be seen what that means specifically for that loan. If you look at that filing, it even says unsecured. I've talked to some people that have raised some concerns that maybe through bankruptcy they're trying to set it up so that maybe some of the secure things that were used to secure that loan, such as the property and the power plant itself, might not be part of a future deal. We will see.
Stephen Allen Adams is joining us, Ogden Newspapers reporter and columnist. Omnis filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy with the former Pleasance Power Station up at Willow Island in Pleasance County. Stephen, Hodgson had promised or was trying to take coal, burn it, I think, very, very hot, then turn it into hydrogen, use the hydrogen to power the plant, then have a graphite facility there along the river at the southern end of Pleasance County. Did he overpromise? Where did it all go off the rails?
Very good question. I've written extensively about this whole process, including 2 years ago, really kind of looking into that. A lot of experts out there, well, yes, you can do what Simon wanted to do, which was he wanted to create what was called a quantum reformer. But in essence, it was just a really, really high temperature furnace that could take coal, burn it at a high temperature, and then take the byproducts of that. On one hand, hydrogen, take it, put it into the power plant to run the power plant off of hydrogen. And then on the other hand, take graphite, which they could use and sell to various companies for various manufacturing processes. That was always the goal. If you remember a few years ago, they took lawmakers on a big tour of this facility. They've had investors in there. Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, is also a big investor in this project. I mean, a lot of people believed in it. Bill Cole, former Senate president and businessman in Southern West Virginia, another big investor in this project. A lot of people really kind of were sold on what he was trying to sell. But even the company that built out the infrastructure for the quantum reformers is still waiting to get paid by this group and actually put a certain type of lien on some of the property there as they wait to get paid. So it's not clear to me that the demonstration ever happened. And keep in mind, they got the $50 million loan from the EDA contingent on them being able to secure more than $800 million in loan funding through the U.S. Department of Energy. The Wall Street Journal reported a couple years ago that the DOE had told them, you're not far along in your demonstration of this technology for us to be comfortable giving you any type of loan. So there's some issues there, too, with even how they procured the state loan and some of the claims that they had made in their agreement.
Looking at the technology versus what I would say is execution. And I mean, look, this plant, even as it is, has capacity value in the markets right now. I mean, the market is so thirsty for capacity that you could make money just by offering it on a capacity basis. But that said, this feels as much or maybe more like an execution and a cultural problem, Stephen, as it is a technology problem. How does this bankruptcy get certain people off the bus or keep people on the bus? How is that working? Is that part of the story here?
I think it is part of the story. Back in February, actually, Simon Hodson and his management team were, in essence, forced out of the management of Omnis Pleasance and the Pleasance Power Plant. They were replaced with different people running that plant. They remained on. The Hodson Group remained on, according to the agreement I saw or the press release I saw back in February, as a basically minority investor in the project. Now, if you look at the bankruptcy filing, again, they say governance is really one of the reasons that they needed to do this. I've been told by multiple people that have been following this very closely that they see this as perhaps the attempt by the group, perhaps the group primarily funded through Tony Robbins, trying to force out completely Simon Hodson and his management group completely from the project. I know there was a contract back in January, and I don't know where this stands, with one company to perhaps explore the possibility of data centers on that property. One of the second biggest creditor on that Chapter 11 bankruptcy was a company called Built Technologies, $20 million, which is a company that specializes in building out data center modular sites and things of that nature. So there's definitely a future for this plant doing something along the lines of, and I think I've seen this in other reporting in regards to Tony Robbins, I think they would like to see this remain a coal-fired power plant, perhaps a combined cycle with natural gas, and keep it as a merchant power plant, which it already is, but also there's potential there for data centers. I know that's a dirty word right now, so that might make some people's, the hairs on the people's backs stand up, but that's a real possibility right there. So I think this is a lot of this is trying to clean up their house a little bit to make it viable, either for them to keep hold of it or if someone were to buy it to do exactly what we're talking about here.
Stephen Allen Adams, you can read his articles across the Ogden newspapers all over the state, including the Parkersburg News and Sentinel, Morgantown Dominion Post here in town as well. Stephen, we always appreciate it. I'll let you go to your meeting. I'm sure you've got something planned for today if you're up in our neck of the woods. So we appreciate you taking some time, buddy.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Stephen Allen Adams, friend of the program, Ogden newspapers, reporter and columnist. Some severe weather moving across the state this morning. We'll get an update from our meteorologist. Bryan Hughes joins us next.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the health plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The health plan, we are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
At Daniels Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniels is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniels.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Cleanup continues in Lewis and Upshur counties after the storms that rolled through a week ago today brought torrential rains and flooding to that part of the state. We had 7, I think, total confirmed tornadoes across the state from those storms last Tuesday. Here we are a week later, and we're talking about some severe weather moving across parts of West Virginia. Let's bring in Metro News Metro News meteorologist.
It's old habit,
It
right?
just rolls right off the tongue. Bryan Hughes. Morning, Bryan.
I used to work for AccuWeather a long time ago, like 25 years ago.
What happened?
The contracts. They have horrible contracts. And you just always wanted to get out of them.
See, I know you'll be honest. That's why I ask.
but no, I've worked with a number of meteorologists across the country. Everybody from Jim Cantori, who's a friend of mine, to the folks at AccuWeather. So
you guys have a handshake or something? Because it seems like you know everybody across when it comes to weather. I mean, you guys do. You have like a family type thing going on.
It really is. There's about 3,000 meteorologists roughly across the country. They're in the broadcast division and such. So we all know each other. And if we don't know the other person, we know somebody who knows that person. So, yeah.
All right. Well, do you know anybody who knows what's going on across the state today?
Well, I'll tell you this. If I was a betting man, I would have not bet on a tornado warning this morning, and I wouldn't have issued the tornado warning that was issued this morning for parts of Logan, Wayne counties, and out there at Lincoln, as well as Mingo counties, and then into the 2 counties. I mean, you had Lawrence County, Kentucky, and you had Martin and Pike County that were in on that. I think the tornado, if there was any sort of damage, it was mostly going to be on the Kentucky side of the border, but it was running right along the border. So they issued for both the Jackson National Weather Service office in Kentucky issued, and then also Carlson. But we also have the flash flood warnings. I mean, we still have the flash flood warning that continues right now for the next 25 minutes. Yeah. So to go to 11:15, and that is for Logan, Wayne, Boone, and Lincoln counties. Because of 2 inches worth of rain to probably 2.5, maybe 3 inches worth of rain in some areas.
And in those particular topographies, it's almost like a wedge, right? You've got the little valley that's very narrow between two mountains, and there's just nowhere for the water to go.
Right, and then that's the thing. That's the difference between, what you're dealing with Weston and Upshur. There's more flat territory to work with there than there is.
So in these instances, it doesn't take as much rain.
Right, exactly. It does not take as much at all. But if you had even those numbers there, it would be catastrophic. Because, I mean, that's what the Greenbrier, that was what 2016 was, Greenbrier River and also the Elk. It was catastrophic. And this is catastrophic up there in Upshur Lewis counties, but you didn't have the immediate rise that was happening so fast and then the rushing of the water. You still had water that was rushing, but not to the extent that, we saw in the Elk and also on the Greenbrier. But, I was up there yesterday in Weston, and to see the one thing I said was the best thing about today's rain is that it's going to wash away some of the dust and dirt. And because you really need that. You've got to get that because that's toxic dirt. It's toxic dust that's in the air that you're dealing with right now. So, that's going to be the best part about it. But unfortunately, there were so many people that were concerned about the rain totals. I mean, I had one woman say, I heard we're getting 5 inches tonight. I was like, no, ma'am, no. That's not happening. Yes, you're going to have some showers and storms. It's going to be early in the morning, but we're not going to have, 5 inches worth of rain. I mean, that just, it wasn't particularly in the cards for them at this point. So, the one thing I said earlier on the flagship 580 WCHS, I was talking to Dave Allen, and I said, if there's one thing that I saw up there that they need, most of Weston. Now, I did not go to Buchanan, just so we're clear. I was in Weston because they were hit harder than Buchanan was, and so that's where we were sending most of our supplies, at least for the initial round, because we've got more stations that are bringing them in. But they had, I think, 16 total restaurants that are in Weston, and only 4 are operational now. And that's the ones, it's just Sheetz, that's the McDonald's, I think there's a KFC, Taco Bell, and maybe the Starbucks there. That's it. Everything else got wiped away. So, that's a problem. Food trucks. If somebody could take some food trucks up there for a week or two, man, it would help some things.
By the way, we do have a relief drive going on today. Had one in Morgantown yesterday. Our Clarksburg cluster of radio stations there in Harrison County having a drive today. So if you want to drop off relief supplies, you can do that. The link is at the website up at the top of the homepage, wvmetronews.com. If you want to make a monetary donation, we're partnered up with Titan Roofing, Huntington Banks, and the American Red Cross. You can make a donation, and Huntington Bank's going to match it up to $25,000 for relief efforts from last week's storm. So multiple ways you can help out.
Yeah, and not only that, you think about what we're doing. I mean, the power of the Metro News radio network and our affiliates, our owned and operated stations, we're able to turn around these supply drives in a heartbeat. And, that's the power of radio, what we can do. It's quick. We can knock it out, and it's going directly to those people almost immediately. And that's what we did. Even on Friday from Charleston, we sent 2 trucks up on Friday. And then we went back on Monday, yesterday, and took a van and a truck worth of stuff. And so we had U-Hauls actually on Friday is what we're dealing with as well. So much larger trucks. But we can turn this quickly. And that's what's so important. And we're at least gonna have $50,000 going into the pot. I mean, there's gonna be a lot more costs that are gonna come out of this, but still, that's immediate stuff that we can get done now.
Quickly back to today's weather. Less severe as we move throughout the day?
Yes, especially in central West Virginia, north central West Virginia, eastern parts of the state. We are still going to have some showers and storms this afternoon into the early evening hours in those areas. For the Kanawha Valley and back over to Huntington, I think between probably noon and 1 o'clock, we'll have thunderstorms bubbling up again. Those could be strong to severe. Gusty winds a primary threat. So around I-64 where they will fire up and then slide off to the south-southeast. And you're going to have heavy rain with those as well. So we do have to watch eastern Kanawha County, parts of Lincoln, Wayne, Logan, Boone counties as well.
Metro News meteorologist Bryan Hughes. Bryan, always appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you.
You too, Bryan. It's always good to talk to you.
I wish I could see you. We'll get there.
You know what's weird is I can see you.
Oh, well, in that case. This is bothering me now. I don't know which camera it is.
Thanks, Bryan. Always appreciate it. All right, back in a moment to wrap up hour number 1.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpot is $663 million. The Mega Millions jackpot is $800 million. So go ahead, play today. Couple of texts here before the top of the hour. 304 Talk 304. I don't even know where to start on that one. We'll come back to it. Just an observation. Why is it that most every bigger business here in West Virginia are actually owned by people or corporations based in other states elsewhere? Is our state not accommodating to businesses? Why can't West Virginia keep business profits here in West Virginia? What are we doing wrong? Care to venture a guess there, Meadows?
We don't have capital. We don't have capital. People bring capital into this state. Rich families bring their capital into this state. We have very few legacy wealth generators in this state. We have some, but we have a relatively small number compared to the rest of the United States. We don't have the capital that actually lives here. Capital comes in from elsewhere. Fortune 500s are headquartered elsewhere. It's about having capital. It has nothing. I mean, those other things are important. We're not doing anything wrong necessarily. We just don't have the capital here.
304 Talk 304. Can Jim Justice be governor again? I thought he was already in office for 2 terms, asks Gary in Vienna. TJ? You answered him on the text line. I was giving you. Sorry.
No problem. You get 2 consecutive terms. You have to set out a term. And then you can have 2 more. Set out a term, have 2 more. It goes on and on.
Coming up, we'll talk flock cameras, plus more Capito will join us a little bit later on. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Be weather aware for Tuesday is going to be our favorite rain and storm day. A lot of us missed the storms yesterday, but that is not the case this morning. We have a marginal slight risk of severe weather for isolated to scattered severe potential, mainly damaging winds, slight risk area, can't rule out some large hail. Western areas of West Virginia, I did observe 1 tornado warning storm, a tornado warning already. So know your safe place to be. The severe weather develops. Sturdy building, centermost room in the lowest floor is where you generally want to be. There's also going to be that potential of some heavy and excessive rain today. There are multiple boundaries. We have a warm front, a prefrontal trough, the main cold front coming in from the north, and there could be some locally higher amounts of rain yet on top of up to saturated ground. We are generally in a marginal risk of excessive rain for local flash flooding that's possible, but I did see at least one flash flood warning northwest in Ohio. So what the radar may look like at 7 a.m., again, we are favored for the rain today, generally likely, and that risk of flash flooding. Keep eyes on streams and rivers, and some severe weather too. Fly Zebra forecast, it starts at home, 95 in Orlando today, Chicago 77, they had the severe weather there yesterday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, be mindful of rain and storms, highs near 80, chance of showers and storms ends tonight. Eastern Panhandle, risk of severe and some heavy rain, highs around the low to mid 80s, chance of storms early tonight. Central areas, risk of severe weather, chance of heavy rain, isolated flash flooding, keeps eyes on streams and rivers for the next 2 days here. And to the west, risk of some flash flooding and all types of severe weather may impact the morning drive. We are dry Wednesday and Thursday, and also Friday, highs mid-80s with mostly sunny skies, 80s and more unsettled potentially for the weekend, as I'll watch for another chance of showers and storms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of Metro News Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown. TJ is in Charleston. Jake Link, our video producer, and Ethan Collins is handling the phones and the audio side of things today. Say good morning once again to all of our great radio affiliates in and around the state of West Virginia, or if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube, we appreciate that as always. We'll talk to more Capito, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia, coming up bottom of the hour. He addressed the media after yesterday's hearing involving the now former Fayette County Delegate Elliot Pritt. We'll talk to more at the bottom of the hour. Also, Daniel Woods was in a Kanawha County courtroom this morning regarding the case involving the now former ambulance driver accused of dragging a man to his death earlier this year. We'll get the update from Daniel a little bit later on in the second half of the hour. Once again, say good morning, TJ Meadows down in Charleston. Once again, good morning, TJ Meadows down in Charleston.
Good morning. Watching the ceremony paying tribute to the late Senator Graham, his body, his casket lying in the rotunda in the U.S. Capitol. It's interesting. Almost everybody that goes up, they do the same thing. They all put their hand on the same place, and it's very quick, and then they remove it and they move on. But people circling right now, making the rounds in and out of there. It's just I always find these things sorrowful to watch, fascinating to watch at the same time.
Yeah, two services today in D.C., and then he will be taken back home to South Carolina for a service tomorrow, I believe I read. So that is happening as we speak. We'll get the updates from the courtrooms as well. A few weeks ago, many of you probably had not even heard of flock cameras or ALPRs. Now flock, one of the most polarizing words you can bring up. The cameras have become one of the fastest growing technology deployments in policing. They act as a force multiplier for short-staffed departments. However, many privacy concerns have been raised, asking where the line is between public safety and mass surveillance. To help try to cut through some of the noise today, please welcome to the program retired police chief. He's got a bachelor's in criminal justice. He's got a law degree. He's now the CEO of Benchmark Professional Seminars, training officers all over the country. Say good morning to Ed Preston. Chief, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning. It's good to see you guys again.
I think the last time you and I talked, we were probably talking about hostile benches or something going on in town. You okay?
I'm definitely not attacked by any hostile benches. I can assure you of that. Benches are my friend.
All right, let's start with these flock cameras, these ALPRs that are getting a lot of publicity, a lot of pushback. Let's start on the law enforcement side. What are the advantages and what are the benefits to having this technology available for a department?
Well, the first thing to start with is Flock is just a manufacturer. Motorola and many other electronics firms and companies produce different varying products along this lines. They're automated license plate readers that work on optical character recognition. From a law enforcement standpoint, we've been using them for years, 20 plus years with my personal experience. But they were in what was like a read-only type of application where they would be installed typically in a vehicle in a mobile status where an officer is in the vehicle and there's a monitor. So there's cameras up on the car and the car is driving around. Information is downloaded into the computer in the car for hot files such as wanted missing persons, silver alerts, amber alerts, or stolen cars, things of that nature. But they're already entered into the National Crime Information Center database as wanted vehicles for very specific reasons. And the camera would capture, would fly, they're driving around, the officer's driving, and they would flash an image and capture it. And the officer would have to look at the computer screen to determine whether or not it was a legitimate capture or not. For example, you could have license plate numbers that are repeated from state to state to state, but only the West Virginia license plate is the one that's wanted, not the one from Kentucky. So it would require an officer to differentiate whether or not it's a real or a false tracking, a false hit, if you will. That's it's a very great application from law enforcement because a police officer can't see every single license plate that he encompasses as he's driving around in his patrol shift. This is just an aid, like a flashlight enables you to illuminate an area and see more than what you would normally see. It's reactive. It's not proactive surveillance. It's not a database that's collected where it captures every image that it sees. It's only looking for certain things to flash off. Like your trail cams, when you hunt, it's got a motion sensor. It only records when there's motion at that very specific location. That's the old technology. The new technology, there's a whole lot of disconnect between public policy and the technology. The technology has accelerated much faster than what the public, what law enforcement, and this essentially what your governing bodies have been able to determine, because artificial intelligence has been just creeping and growing in leaps and bounds, and has far exceeded as what we thought about 25 years ago.
Chief, that was going to be part of my question in terms of how quickly the technology is changing and our ability to keep track with policy and then also with constitutional provisions like the Fourth Amendment. You being an attorney, I don't know if you've read the Chatry case, but a lot of folks are talking about that case that dealt with geofencing and the fact that you need a warrant, and Kagan's comments in the opinion when she said that people have an expectation of privacy in their physical movements and this database of storage for 21 days or 30 days of whatever it may be. How do you, as an attorney and a law enforcement officer, how do you reconcile those two with what you're hearing from the court and where all this is going?
Well, again, that's part of the disconnect in your public policy. And I'll just give you a couple examples to start with before I go into an explanation. North Carolina, you can't use audio or video technology for surveillance and criminal activity, such as issuing citations and the like with them. It's against the law. You physically cannot do it in the state of North Carolina. That's their public policy. And with that, only unless an officer sees an offense, they can write a citation or make an arrest, et cetera. In other states like Maryland, it's free use, where it is red light cameras or issue citations all the time. I've even seen in some localities where they use noise They use decibel meters and the cameras. And if a car goes by, the muffler's too loud or the radio's too loud, they'll issue a citation. There's no officer involved in dealing with that. Now in West Virginia, a little bit different. West Virginia follows along the Chatley case that you referenced, that talks about the right to privacy. We have things like the Mullins decision, which requires a court order to even allow a police officer to record a conversation in someone's home. We have situations where to put a tracker on a motor vehicle, we require a court order in order to put the tracker to track someone's movements in the motor vehicle. In reference in the Chatley case, they use geofencing. Well, geofencing is nothing more than using the GPS information that is stored inside almost all cell phones. But it goes much further than that, much, much further than a law enforcement application. Again, technology is far exceeded. Have you ever noticed your telephone, you get targeted advertisement if you're talking about something like Dave and I were talking about Camden Park not too long ago. And so if we talk about Camden Park, you look at your advertising, you have Camden Park shows up in your Facebook or your Instagram or your other feeds of that type of nature. If you do searches on your computer, your Google or web crawler or whatever search engine you use, you'll notice on the side, you'll notice feeds and pop-ups, again, targeted. That's all AI intelligence targeting specific types of things. So this AI is nothing new. This targeted databases is nothing new. It's our public policy that is not caught up to what's been going on. What's now you're starting to see is those AI databases are now being utilized by local governments and municipalities and counties where it's already been in third-party hands like Google, Ring doorbells, etc., for years.
Ed Preston is joining us. He's a retired Morgantown police chief. He's also the CEO of Benchmark Professional Seminars, trains officers all over the country. So along that thread, Ed, what types of policy or where do county commissions or city councils need to start looking at policy if this technology, look, it's here, it's coming, it's eventually going to be utilized no matter how much you like it or not. So what kind of policies do you need to be looking at right now?
Well, first and foremost, you have to look at the contracts. There's a great example. Saginaw, Michigan is undergoing a great discussion with their contracts. The city manager put a contract on a consent agenda for the city council and wanted the city council to approve this flock contract. And the city council says, hey, wait a minute. What is the terms of the contract? What are the deliverables? And that's a great question. And that's something that every governing body should be asking, but it shouldn't just be at the local level. This should be at the state and the national level, to be quite candid, is that it's pretty much the Wild West out there, and it's all over the board from state to state, county to county, city to city. I think there's questions that I don't even think anybody's been asking yet. Let's go with just the public information. Okay, FOIAs. It says any information collected by a government agency in the course of their duties is the public's information, and they have a right to have that, to inspect that. Are we going to start having databases of hours and hours and days and weeks and months of video that's now going to be subject to public inspection? Nobody's asked that question yet, but it's a reality because it is a document. It is a public information file that is owned by the citizens of the states in which they live in. Not even been asked yet. We use this stuff all the time, and we don't even think about the second and third tiers of effects where it happens. You know, everybody is, even on the West Virginia Turnpike. Have you noticed that you can go through the Turnpike now, and they will send you a bill for for that? That's an ALPR. It's an automated license plates reader that's bouncing the DMV data to send you a bill by using the West Virginia Turnpike. Not just West Virginia, but all over the country. This is type of situations. So the policy's got to start at all the states and nationally. It has to. In order for it to conform with the protections of the Fourth Amendment for people to be secure in their homes, it has to start there. We also need to start looking at these third-party owners of information and how to regulate that. We really should start looking at better regulation all across the board.
So many questions going through my mind now based on what you said, but tell me if this is hyperbolic or not. You talked about the fact I could FOIA this information. So someone who might not be the most upstanding citizen, if they wanted to go FOIA information and see where TJ Meadows has been, and they want to create a cottage industry, and, TJ's in a place you shouldn't have, I'm going to go blackmail him, and he's either going to give me some money for this footage or I'm going to show it to his wife kind of thing. I mean, is that how hyperbolic, or could we start seeing those kinds of instances popping up?
It's not hyperbolic. It just happened in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, good Lord.
What happened?
2 deputies, unauthorized use into the flock system, and they were using it for personal gain to track the movements of other people's. There was another one, I believe it was Sumter, South Carolina. Don't quote me on this, but it was a South Carolina case where a former employee of the sheriff's office was tracking the current girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend, using this for a domestic situation. It's not hyperbole. This stuff is already happening. People are losing their jobs. It's not because the technology is bad. It's because people are making bad choices with what's available to them.
Talking to Ed Preston. He's the retired Morgantown police chief. He now runs Benchmark Professional Seminars, trains officers all over the country. He's got his bachelor's in criminal justice law degree as well. Ed, if you were still a chief, still running a police department, Morgantown, any place else, would you get this kind of technology? Would you implement this technology in your department?
Absolutely not. Actually, what I would do is I would implement, as we talked about before, the read only. This is in the contract. You could contract this into your system to read only. I would only download and have the hot files that we called them from NCIC that had the wants and the warrants, where there was a confirmed warrant on hand or there was a confirmed missing person like a silver alert or an amber alert, and where the officer they would get an alert, but the officer had to screen the information in order to confirm whether or not it was a good alert or not, and then take action based upon their investigative process. And I think that's honestly, as a personal opinion, I think that's the best way to guarantee the Fourth Amendment protections for everyone. Do I think that we should have surveillance cameras for various things? Yeah, absolutely. Case in point, 511, know before you go. When you go to the DOT website and you look up, like on game day in Morgantown, yeah, I'm going to look at the cameras to see, what's the easiest way to get to the interstate. But that's for everybody to have access to. And it's not storing the information. It's showing you what's happening right then and there.
Why aren't we doing that then? That sounds like a reasonable, prudent approach. Why aren't more departments doing that?
Again, public policy. What do you have in the guidelines that say this is the right way to do it? What do we have in law that says this is how we will do it? Again, that's the big disconnect that's there. Technology has far exceeded what our existing public policy is. I guarantee you, nobody sat down 5 years ago and sat here and thought about, hey, I wonder if a 25-man police department could have surveillance and they could see everybody, all 50,000 people that drive into their city in a different day to go to Walmart. I don't think that was in the books. I don't think anybody had a magic crystal ball to see these kind of things.
He's Ed Preston, retired Morgantown police chief. He's got his bachelor's in criminal justice law degree, Benchmark Professional Seminars. He trains officers all over the country on a variety of topics, and I've been leaning on him for 15 years when it comes to law enforcement questions. Ed, always appreciate the conversation. Thanks for stopping by today.
Anytime, guys.
Appreciate it. Coming up, we'll get some of your texts, 304-TALK-304. Also, more Capito joins us bottom of the hour. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The conversation starts long before the game.
You want heavy swag purchase?
Well, one of my things, I love gear from events.
Okay.
I just love. That's a thing. I gotta go get gear.
Well, you're not alone because there's a lot of people.
A lot of people. When my daughter was little and participating in karate, we'd go up to Weir and be at an event. I'm like, right, I have a T-shirt we got. Let's get a T-shirt for Let's get a T-shirt.
3 guys before the game. Available on Metro News Television.
Text line 304-TALK 304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK. More Capito going to join us a couple of minutes from now. Couple of texts here, a couple of thoughts. Texter says, this is why we need a lot younger. Start that again. This is why we need a lot of younger, more technology experts in all forms of government, especially in the legislative branch. These older people have no idea what technology does or can do. Therefore, they're not equipped to regulate it. Fair point. Cover up your camera lens with a Band-Aid. Turn off the mic. They're watching and they are listening, says the texter. Just quick takeaway from that conversation, which I found to be interesting, not just because I've known Ed for a while, TJ. You can either fight technology or you can figure out how to responsibly use it. And my takeaway from that is it would be very prudent. Here in West Virginia, we're small enough for the state legislature to examine guardrails and proper uses, how you want to utilize that technology. You can fight it, but it's here and it's going to be implemented. But how you implement it, how you use that technology, putting guardrails up, putting policies in place, that I think we're small enough in West Virginia. That can be done at the state level to regulate the entire state instead of having this patchwork from county to county, city to city. Thoughts?
What do you think a flock camera thinks about you?
What
do you think
about
money?
me?
Yeah. What do you think money thinks about you? What do you think a gun thinks about you? Nothing. It's all about the person that uses it. Ed made a great point. These are tools. It's how people use them. They're agnostic. They don't care. It's how the technology is used. And it's really the database. What he described in real time with the license plate readers, that makes all the sense in the world to me. Did you hear? Okay, it flags this person has been registered as missing. This person has a warrant that ties back to this car. All of that makes sense, and I think at the same time preserves the essence of the Fourth Amendment, which the court has said, albeit in another case, people have a right. They have an expectation of privacy when it comes to their physical movements and government not being able to track them. I also think the key distinction, he mentioned Google and these other technologies, and we've been doing it for a while. That is a voluntary association and a contract I enter into willingly with a counterparty.
This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Be weather aware for Tuesday is going to be our favorite rain and storm day. A lot of us missed the storms yesterday, but that is not the case this morning. We have a marginal slight risk of severe weather for isolated to scattered severe potential, mainly damaging winds, slight risk area, can't rule out some large hail. Western areas of West Virginia, I did observe one tornado warned storm, a tornado warning already. So know your safe place to be if severe weather develops. Sturdy building, centermost room in the lowest floor is where you generally want to be. There's also going to be that potential of some heavy and excessive rain today. There are multiple boundaries. We have a warm front, a prefrontal trough, the main cold front coming in from the north, and there could be some locally higher amounts of rain yet on top of up to saturated ground. We are generally in a marginal risk of excessive rain for local flash flooding that's possible, but I did see at least one flash flood warning northwest in Ohio. So what the radar may look like at 7 a.m., again, we are favored for the rain today, generally likely, and that risk of flash flooding. Keep eyes on streams and rivers. And some severe weather, too. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home. 95 in Orlando today. Chicago, 77. They had the severe weather there yesterday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, be mindful of rain and storms. Highs near 80. Chance of showers and storms ends tonight. Eastern Panhandle, risk of severe and some heavy rain. Highs around the low to mid-80s. Chance of storms early tonight. Central areas, risk of severe weather. Chance of heavy rain. Isolated flash flooding. Keeps eyes on streams and rivers for the next 2 days here. And to the west, risk of some flash flooding and all types of severe weather may impact the morning drive. We are dry Wednesday and Thursday, and also Friday. Highs mid-80s with mostly sunny skies, 80s and more unsettled potentially for the weekend, as I'll watch for another chance of showers and storms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Hey, I take offense at that.
Why would you do that? Because on midday, the last segment, the first thing I hear when those mics go on is you just coughing, and I'm just like, this guy.
You don't appreciate me giving that show a little ratings boost at the end, a little boom boom?
You coughing directly onto these microphones? No, I don't want it.
I don't know where this came from.
Everybody.
I'm in another room, guys.
Hey,
I don't know.
everybody.
Hey, Coop,
I'm just
what's up?
watching this.
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Daniel Woods will join us. We'll get an update from Kanawha County Circuit Courts about 10 minutes from now. Your texts are welcome, 304-TALK, 304. Now, former Fayette County Delegate Elliot Pritt remains in federal custody after he waived detention and preliminary hearings yesterday in federal court. He's accused of using the online game Roblox to seduce a 15-year-old girl who was a student of his in the Fayette County school system. Moore Capito is the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia. He'll present the case to the federal grand jury, and he joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Moore, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me on. How are we doing?
Doing well. Glad you could be with us. We know the allegations in this case. How did your office come to take this case rather than this become a local or state case?
Well, ultimately, these things come down to jurisdiction as far as crimes against children. And, I think it's always a good reminder, although it's a very sad reminder, that we're talking about children. And this is something that, since I've been on the job, has been my number one priority, is the protection of the children of West Virginia. Anytime that we have crimes committed against children here in the Southern District, it's something that, of course, our office takes a look at. And I tell you, really, with the advances in technology, a lot of these crimes start on the internet or start through peer-to-peer communications on some sort of a platform, which gives us a hook into jurisdiction.
Good morning, Moore. TJ here. How quickly do you believe that your team will be able to present this to a grand jury, and how confident are you will indeed get an indictment?
I think that what you've seen from our team, and I want to give our team, a lot of effort here. Our lead attorney on this case, Jennifer Harold, as I mentioned in my press conference, works on these cases day in and day out. She's so committed to children in the state of West Virginia and making sure that we have those that prey upon them that are pulled off of the street. We're going to absolutely present an indictment to the grand jury. We're going to do that quickly. I think that, as you saw, our office acted very quickly with this criminal complaint to get Elliot Pritt off of the street, because every day that he was on the street and every day that a child predator is on the street is sort of one too many. We will act quickly to ensure that an indictment is presented to the grand jury, but we want to ensure that we have, all of the evidence that the investigation yields that's appropriate.
Moore Capito is joining us, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia. More often, you know better than I do, in federal cases, you will get an indictment, then you will take a defendant into custody. Was it the nature of these allegations that prompted your office to take Pritt into custody before an indictment?
Is it normal practice? I don't know that it's necessarily normal practice. Oftentimes there will be an indictment, and then there'll be an initial appearance and an arraignment and a detention hearing. In this case, we felt, given the gravity of the situation, and to be honest, let me step back and say, this doesn't necessarily have to do with who the perpetrator of the crime is. When we talk about crimes against children and people that are actively involved in those crimes, we certainly want to act fast to make sure that they're taken off the street. The tool that we have to do that is through a criminal complaint. That's what you saw in this case. You saw that initial appearance yesterday, and you saw that the detention hearing yesterday, both of which were waived.
To the best of your ability, obviously without compromising the case, talk to me about if the investigation is still ongoing or whether that part has wrapped up. Is there any reason to believe there may be other instances here that come to light later?
Well, let me just make a few things very, very clear. And I want to thank, actually, TJ, I want to thank you and Dave for covering this story, and I want to thank outlets across the state of West Virginia for covering this story, because I think it shines a light on something that we see in our office every single day. And the first thing that I want to mention is that no child is immune from this sort of activity. As we become more and more connected virtually through applications where children at younger and younger ages are connected not only to their friends but to community members at large, not necessarily in their county or state, but throughout the country and throughout the world. This is something that can happen to any child. It's not necessarily something that somebody who is from a vulnerable upbringing is more susceptible to. It could be somebody who comes from, a family that pays attention to their child every day and watches what their child does every single day, but you can't watch your child every single second. So number one is, this is not a socioeconomic issue. This can happen to any child. And the reason that it can happen to any child is because these groomers that are out there are so sophisticated. And as I mentioned, they'll use any technological means that they can to begin and to get that foot in the door to these children. And what we're seeing play out in the media, and again, I think it's really a testament that the media has covered this and brought this to the attention of West Virginians. What we've seen is that this can happen very, very slowly, and groomers are willing to take it very, very slowly to get to that ultimate step. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that these are children that we're talking about. Oftentimes it's reported that these are young this or young that. These are kids, okay? And so there has been a large amount of trauma that has been that has occurred in some child's life in West Virginia. And so what we really ask the community to do is give that family privacy. Imagine that was your child that had happened to, in the privacy, that you would want. And we talk about, these words that we read in romance novels like seduction and all this. This is not seduction, okay? This is coercion and manipulation. Again, these are children that are being groomed by adults. And so we always say that these are times when parents should always have those difficult conversations with your kids, or conversations that I have with my kids about boundaries. We always want them to be age appropriate. But if there's something that makes you uncomfortable, say something to your parents. Make sure that they know what's going on in your life so that we can get it to the appropriate people, here in West Virginia, whether it's law enforcement or whether it's people at our, child advocacy centers. We have committed people that really want to help.
So, Moore, are there possibly additional victims in this particular case?
As I said in my press conference, unfortunately, the sad thing is it's not the exception. It's more of the rule that when we see these cases that are disseminated out into the public, we generally will see more victims that come forward. But all of that depends on how comfortable those victims are in the fallout of what we're seeing in the news coming forward. That we tout the bravery of these children for telling their story. We encourage them to come forward and talk about the experiences that they've had. It's absolutely possible, Dave, that we see more victims come forward. We have professionals that are ready to answer that call. We always tell people to call if it's in Fayette County. Call my friend Jeff McMullen. He does a great job. He and his investigator Officer Pack at 304-574-4268. And then if you want to go on the internet through the Department of Homeland Security, they have a great website at dhs.gov/no2project.
Walk us through what happens next. Obviously, if you get the indictment, there's arraignment, and then you move to trial or pleadings. It's early, but would there be any appetite for any kind of pleading in this case?
I think it's too early to say at this stage, TJ. I have to say, I can't, if I was looking into the crystal ball, I still wouldn't even know. As you know, there are a lot of cases that plead, but what I can tell the people of West Virginia right now is that this office and I personally will apply the heaviest hand to justice in a case like this, because these are as serious as it gets, and the children are our future. We have to make sure that they're protected. We have to make sure that their bravery is upheld, and that's what we'll do in this case.
Moore Capito is the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia. Moore, we always appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, TJ.
Absolutely. Coming up, Daniel Woods will give us an update from Kanawha County Circuit Court. The former ambulance driver accused in the death of an Elkview man in court for a hearing this morning. We'll get the details about that right after this.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. Fiber is now at your front door and even in rural areas and communities across West Virginia. Thanks to broadband expansion funding, your tax dollars helped make it possible. And CityNet turned that investment into real connections for local families and businesses. Now, you can get blazing fast fiber internet with free installation, free equipment, no long-term contract, and local customer support that's always close to home. Don't settle for slow or no internet for another day. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Governor Morrissey announcing this morning what may have been the worst kept secret in the state. Multi-billion-dollar energy investment in Grant County that will add 2.6 gigawatts of new natural gas generation for the region. This will be in Mount Storm. Dominion Energy has proposed building a combined cycle station in Grant County, subject to receipt of all necessary permits and approvals. Project expected to create more than 1,400 construction jobs, 150 permanent jobs. That's been floating out there for a couple of days now, but the governor makes it official. Gas-fired power plant in Grant County.
I think you have to have at least 3 politicians. I mean, number one, this thing's been out there for months, but you had Chris Rose last week. Oh, this is coming. Then you had yesterday, Senator Justice got on board, and now the governor. So, maybe Dominion will talk about it now. We'll see.
So instead of double sourcing, you got to have triple sourced.
3 politicians. 3 politicians, or it's not economic development day.
We'll have that story over the website shortly, wvmetronews.com. There were 2 motions filed in the case of former Kanawha County EMT Alyssa Middleton, who was charged in the dragging death of an Elkview man. One of those was for a change of venue. Daniel Woods from Metro News was in the courtroom this morning for those hearings. He joins us from the newsroom. Daniel, good morning. What's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on, to be completely honest with you, Dave. This case obviously has gotten a lot of media attention. It's gotten a lot of social media attention. And as you said, there were two motions today. One was a joint motion to continue, just to move this down the line. It was supposed to go to trial next month, and both parties just said there's too much evidence. There's too much that we're waiting on. We can't be ready for this in a month's time. The other motion is the more interesting one because it was a motion from the defense of Alyssa Middleton to have a change of venue for the trial because there is so much social media attention, so much media attention. It would, in their view, be hard to seat an impartial jury for this case in Kanawha County. Now, there was kind of an addendum to that that Alyssa Middleton's defense attorney, Robbie Long, argued for to seal the location of that trial if it were to be moved. And Kanawha County Circuit Judge Dave Hardy is overseeing this case, and he flat out said, I have never had somebody bring a motion like that before me. And he said, even if we move this case, we're not going to do that. It's not within anyone's rights to seal the location of a trial. It's going to happen in open court. But what then came that I thought was the most interesting thing and the most pertinent thing to come out of this today was that Judge Hardy did not rule on the motion to change the venue because currently, there's an appeal to the state Supreme Court by Natalie Cochran, who folks will potentially remember was convicted of murdering her husband last year. And her appeal to the state Supreme Court is that primarily she should have been granted a change of venue because of social media attention. There was a motion in that case for a change of venue, which coincidentally enough was before Judge Kirkpatrick, who's now on the state Supreme Court. There was a motion in that case for a change of venue that was denied. They are now appealing to the Supreme Court to say that should have been granted. That's enough to order Natalie Cochran a new trial. Judge Hardy in this Kanawha County case with Alyssa Middleton said he is not going to rule on the change of venue until the state Supreme Court makes a decision on the Cochran appeal.
And when will that be?
He expects it soon, is what he said. That case has been fully briefed to the state Supreme Court. No word yet if there are going to be oral arguments in that case. That's what we're waiting on. But Judge Hardy said he is expecting a ruling from the state Supreme Court in the near future.
Couple of observations. You don't have to comment, Daniel. TJ, you can comment if you want.
Okay.
In my years covering news, change of venues, usually that's a very high bar to overcome because – well, take Kanawha County. How many people are in Kanawha County? 100 some?
It's not a small number.
Right. Usually you can find 12 who aren't on social media. That's my point. That is a very high bar to overcome. Also, it's curious to me how social media has changed the landscape. You know, go back, 25, 30 years, TJ? You could probably go from Kanawha to Boone County and nobody would have heard of this case or very few people would have. Everybody's heard of it. So if you go from Kanawha to Monongalia, there's a pretty good chance people in Monongalia County have also heard of the case. So it's kind of changed that dynamic when it comes to change of venue. Again, observations from a very much not lawyer.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, what are you going to do? Move it out of state?
Right.
Going to move it to Georgia where no one's heard about it? Again, another observation. I don't know. I agree with Hardy. Seal it? I mean, number one, that's going to get out where you move it. Number two, why would you do that? Because in my mind, that just weakens your motion, and why would you muddy the water with that?
And even Robbie Long, the defense attorney, came in today and said, I understand there are some constitutional issues with this. Here's maybe an alternative.
So he hedged.
He hedged a little bit. He did say, I've been talking to the prosecution. Maybe we do this instead. Okay. It wasn't necessarily a clear picture. It was kind of, hey, when it comes to the change of venue, let's maybe cross that bridge when we get there. Even he kind of admitted that there were some issues with trying to have the location sealed. But that is the big standout to me is it doesn't seem like this case is going to make any meaningful steps forward until the Supreme Court rules on the Cochran appeal.
Well, fellas, I'll tell you this. I think Hardy making the decision to wait on the Cochran appeal, kudos.
I think it's prudent.
Kudos, especially when they've asked for a continuance.
Right.
And the last thing you want is for a circuit judge to move forward, and then 2 weeks from today.
Right. And
just makes sense.
They're waiting on a medical examiner's report, which I don't know how much you guys know about the medical examiner's office.
Take forever, Daniel.
Their process takes. It could be. They could get it tomorrow. They could get it 6 months from now. So they're not going to move forward. Both parties agreed we're not going to move forward without a medical examiner's report. There are some medical records that have been subpoenaed that have not been turned over yet, and there's some evidentiary things that are going to hold this up anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going to wait, and I think all parties are in agreement on this.
Family of the victim there, did they say anything, if so?
They were there. There was actually a large presence in the courtroom, and then also there was a group of people outside on the sidewalk in front of the courthouse with a big Justice for John sign. There were chants coming from the sidewalk. This was the response that you expected. Not a lot of comment from the family, but there was a very strong presence. Let me put it this way. This was the first time as a member of the media that there have been so many people in the courtroom that they moved us into the jury box.
Wow.
That's how many people were in the courtroom. There were people standing against the door once the hearing started.
Don't get too comfortable there. We need you to work.
I'm just trying to do my job.
I told him, TJ, box out, create a lane, get out of there. Let's go. You can read the story shortly over at the website.
It is published.
Is it published? All right, well done.
He ain't playing around, man.
Well, he ain't Jeff Jenkins either. The story
No,
at the
that's true.
website,
That's true.
WVMetroNews.com. Good work, Daniel. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Back to wrap it up in a moment.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow. West Virginia's grid is old, overloaded, and falling behind. That means fewer jobs, less investment, and a future we can't afford to risk. Marl is the fix. A modern transmission line that strengthens reliability, attracts manufacturing, and puts West Virginians to work. Investment here, jobs here, a more reliable, stronger grid right here. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the health plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The health plan, we are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
At Daniels Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniels is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in store at Daniels.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $663 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $800 million. So go ahead. Play today. We're out of time. Told you it was a full show. Back tomorrow, we'll talk to First Energy's Chris Beam on the show tomorrow. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.